You know, I'm quite a simple fellow, to put it kindly. I'm an easy individual to be around, so I think. I'm also pretty laid back, to be fair. And there's a few times where I can get, I don't know how you describe it, too comfortable in a regard. And one of the things I've been working on over the last month or so would be to not swear as much on the podcast, off air, at work, and my actual job. I can tell you this much: trying to not swear as a welder, might as well, tie a spider's legs up with a shoelace, which is good freaking luck. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Department of BS from the beaches of lovely Long Island, New York. It is time to BS, and my name is Dan Cruz. You can find me on Twitter or X, whatever the heck you want to call it, Instagram, Threads, at Staniel Smooth. Follow the show at Time to BS Podcast and TikTok for clips at Staniel Smooth. Jack's not here. Dude gets busy. So I think what we're going to probably end up doing is he's going to come on whenever he can and stuff like that. I'm not going to pressure him to get on here and stuff like that. I'm not going to pressure anyone to get on here. Because quite frankly, here at Time to BS, we like to evolve. We like to do a whole lot of other things and stuff like that. And just have a genuine good time. I also will say, Seahawks Sessions is coming back. And I'm very excited for it to come back. So we're going to aim to record this Thursday as a recording, today being Tuesday, July 1st. I understand that I was supposed to record yesterday and post the show today and blah, 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 but I will also, I have a very good excuse as to why. So my cousin got married this past weekend, and it was an exciting time because I'm going to shout them out. My cousins, Andrew, Grace, and Lucy. Andrew got married this past week, and I haven't seen that side of the family in what feels like forever. We've also lived in different states for God knows how long, and the fact that they, had the wedding up here in New York was amazing. It was a good time. It was a good drive to go up there to Connecticut, and then later drive the other way, west to Dover Plains, New York. I will say that part of the Northeast is nice because there's a lot of open land. There's a lot of open stuff. There's fields going on over there. The wedding was in a barn, which was nice, and it was small. It was a small wedding, which was great because you generally, look, I'm happy for them. I'm happy for our family because that side of the family hasn't been able to see each other since my grandmother passed. My grandmother passed, 15 years ago? I want to say 15, 17 years ago. Something like that. It's been a while since she passed. And that side of the family hasn't particularly gotten together in quite some time, which stinks because I am a family guy. I generally do enjoy. I definitely do enjoy family. As I would say, I'm a family guy. That's a bad joke. I've said it twice now.
What you have done has made God very unhappy.
I know, and Vince Stover, who I did BS sessions with, is probably just listening right now going, "You shameful man. Shame on thee." Listen, Vince, I have been reading my Bible, okay? Cut me some slack, bro. So, it's been nice to go see some family that I haven't seen in freaking forever. And for a genuinely good reason. So, I'm happy. Congratulations to Andrew and Summer. And peace, love, support, blah, blah, blah to you both. I am not the kind of person that likes to tell a lot of stories, and I've been wanting to get into reading more. Like I mentioned, I've been reading the Bible here and there. It's not who I am, or it's not who I want to be as a person. It's like I want to read the Bible because, well, I guess I want to be a better person or something like that. But at the same point, it's like I want to read the Bible too because I want to get into a relationship with God. I want to be able to get into a relationship with the Lord Himself. And as I said, I'm not a very religious fellow. I do enjoy babbling in the word of religion or something like that. I question a lot. I do question a lot of things. With that being said, I'm not the kind of person that's going to go down a rabbit hole about, how this religion's the right one, or this one's the right way, or this is the right way to live. It's like, no, dude, who cares? I'm not gonna just tell you how to live your life because that's not, in particular, that's not how I envision living. Because I'm not perfect. I'm far from perfect. I'm one of the many people that can probably admit to each other, to everyone out here, I'm far from perfect. Jeez. Probably the farthest thing from perfect, to be perfectly fair here. Or to be completely fair. And that is boiling hot coffee. 9:00 at night, I'm having coffee. Who cares? I've joked in the past about how I think perfection is stupid. And I think the whole perfection is bullcrap. Because no one is perfect, neither is God Himself, and He made me. Jesus, that's a perfect understanding of flawed perfection that I don't know what does. But at the same point, I can also, I can give a pretty fair description of what I think a good person is. Doesn't mean that is the correct definition of a good person. What I think makes you a good person is, you're judge free. You give your opinions or whatever, but that doesn't mean you judge someone. Love thy neighbor. I think us as a society and us as a generation have gotten away from the fact of loving thy neighbor no matter what. And we're so divided across both sides of the coin. It doesn't... How would I put this carefully? I think we judge as a generation because we're so judgmental or critical of ourselves. And it starts to get into the way of what we think is truly important about being a good person. Because I could go up to some random Joe Schmo on the side of the road and be like, hey, how you doing, bro? Hope you're having a good day. Hope you have a good day. I could go to some random lady, well, probably not, but like on the side of the road, and I just go, hey, ma'am, do you need anything? Let me open the door for you, blah, blah, blah. And nowadays, women may view that as like you're flirting with them, which is like, that's not the case. For God's sakes, do you see my ring on my finger? Common decency. And I think social media has kind of ruined that. And my whole point is, I want to be able to, perspective from myself and my point of view, I want to be able to say, not look at life from the spectrum of, hey, this is what's wrong with our society. Here's how I think we can change it. I think it's we're so fixated on judging people on who they are instead of looking ourselves in the mirror and going, hey, what's wrong with me? I'm not perfect. I have my flaws. I work out a lot, but I feel like I can't lose weight. Okay, no big deal. I ramble on like I'm doing now for 10, 15 minutes. Who cares? I feel like I'm repeating the same 5 or 6 stories over and over again, but maybe I'm not. But it's also maybe because I could take one story and drag it out for 15, 20 minutes sometimes. Who cares? I'm an overly sensitive individual. Who cares? And we're so quick to judge. Instead of, hey, putting ourselves in their shoes and saying, hey, what's up? Just, it's not hard to be a good person, but it's easier to be a piece of crap. I think that's where my moral stance is on this whole thing. With that being said, I do want to get to sports talk. There is a bit of sports going on in NHL free agency started today. Also, the NBA free agency period kicked off. We will get to some wrestling because Night of Champions happened this past weekend. I did not see it. I'm going to go based off of what Jack has told me. And we will also begin the Time to BS NFL preview series with the AFC South. But with that being said, we have to get to some advertisements because, as per usual, this show ain't free, so time for some ads. And we'll be right back after a word from our sponsors over at Righteous Felon. This show ain't free, so time for some ads.
Righteous Felon Craft Jerky is the official jerky of Belly Up Sports. For over a decade, Righteous Felon Craft Jerky has led the American meat snack revolution by concocting delicious, adventurous, U.S.-sourced jerky recipes for uncompromising carnivores across the country. With 15 different flavors to choose from, Righteous Felon has all jerky lovers covered, and by using promo code BELLYUP, you will get 15% off your purchase at RighteousFelon.com. Do your taste buds a favor today and rip into a bag of Righteous Felon jerky.
That's right, lads. You can go to righteousfelonbeefjerky.com or righteousfelon.com. Jesus. Get 50% off your order of various jerky flavors using the promo code BELLYUP in all caps at righteousfelon.com. We have another bit of breaking news to get to. I got to type it, blah, 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 because I feel like a dipwad sometimes because I forget to add things. There's some important stuff that happened. Come on, cut me some slack. So let's get to the big juicy details. Free agency in the NHL kicked off. The draft also happened last week. Yay, which is exciting. We'll get to that in a second. But I do want to talk about a massive move that happened. So the Vegas Golden Knights have given us more and more reasons to hate them. Mitch Marner, former top draft pick of the Maple Leafs, multiple-time 90-point scorer with the Maple Leafs, sign and trade with Vegas. The Leafs didn't even get a lot back from him, so this is a complete botch by Toronto in terms of a business perspective. Here's the thing. I could point out on all the good things of how the good reason this is great for Vegas, because you have a 100-point scorer seemingly fall into your lap if you're the Knights. Like, just fall into your lap, like right there. From Toronto's side, I'm pretty sure the entire Maple Leaf fandom is going to boo the living crap out of Mitch Marner when he goes back to Scotiabank Arena as a member of the Golden Knights. I don't blame them for booing, but at the same tier of point, I don't want to speak for Maple Leaf fandom because, for one, I am not a Maple Leafs fan. You see my tattoo. I'm an Islander fan. We'll get to them later. And it's a very, kind of iffy kind of situation because it didn't seem like Marner wanted to be in Toronto for much longer. The Maple Leafs kind of botched his contract situation twice. The first extension he had, and it seemed like no matter what he did, now this is also credit to the passion that the Maple Leaf fan base has. Toronto fans, given credit, sometimes they're a-holes, but given credit, they are passionate. They love their Maple Leafs. Toronto loves their Maple Leafs, and they're the equivalent to the Yankees fan base of baseball. It's the top market in the NHL, Toronto, by far. Anyone who disagrees, come prove me wrong. I enjoy being wrong. I have a weird, uncomfortable fetish with being wrong. I do. Not to that degree. Thank God. But anyone that is defending the Maple Leafs here is you kind of did this to yourself. You botched this contract situation. You disrespected the guy. And it seemed but at the same point, Marner doesn't show up come when it means the most. He gets his 100 points, yay. But the Maple Leafs have won how many series? How many playoff series since Marner has been there in Toronto? Two? That's it? So it kind of seems like you have nothing to show for it. He's too good of a player. I hate to say it, to be in Toronto, which sucks because it's what the hell? It makes you seem like you want to throw your arms in the air and just go, really? Really? You didn't want to do anything here. You couldn't win us another round a year and go to the Eastern Conference Finals, which they haven't been to since the 90s, I want to say. Anyway, it's just a bad situation for Toronto overall. The Islanders are in the news because not only has free agency been going on, they did bring in Jonathan Drouin. They did bring in David Riddick in free agency, but they also did draft with the first overall selection, defenseman Matthew Schaefer from the Erie Otters. Schaefer was the overall number one prospect. Also, Noah Dobson got traded for 2 first-round picks to Montreal. I don't understand. I don't get how Dobson was worth that much for Montreal, but you do you, I guess. It's indeed a new era here on Long Island. It's a new era under Matthew Darche and Patrick Waugh, GM and head coach. I'm excited. I really am. And it's not just because the fact that the Islanders got the first overall pick and they used it on the top player in the draft. Am I annoyed they didn't take James Higgins? Kind of, sort of, not really. Because it would have been cool. It would have been awesome, but, storybook ending didn't happen. But at the same point, yeah, whatever. Schaefer reminds me so much when I watch him from an Islander perspective of a prime Nick Leddy. How he could skate and move and just move the puck everywhere. He could score too, but he only played 17 games last season for Erie. I get it. He's also 17. Is he going to play right away? Probably. Or probably not. I'd be very surprised if he plays right away. But more importantly, this is about a new era. This is a new era of Islander hockey that isn't just about Lou. And I can't poo-poo all over Lou Lamoriello anymore because, he's no longer here. When which at the time I was very thankful for lose time here in New York, here on the island. It was time to move on. And under Matthew Darsh, they made some good moves so far. Noah Dobson traded, being one. Signed Jonathan Duran, Simon Holmstrom to a 2-year extension, and then David Riddick is, emergency for Varlamov whenever he's back from, his injury. And it's Tony DeAngelo's back also on a 1-year deal too. So yay, good stuff. If you, I don't think the Islanders are going to be as bad, quote, as people make them out to be. Yes, defensively they were terrible. Yes, offensively they couldn't really score much. Yes, on special teams they were dog crap. But I think you're going to look into this season and go, you know what? Maybe they could do something. Maybe they won't. But I think I'm here for the long haul, obviously, as a fan. But it's just, I think my hopes are high, but my expectations are low and are happy medium, which is pretty good, if I could say so myself. We also have a massive trade that happened in the NFL circle. Minkah Fitzpatrick and Jonnu Smith from the Steelers have been traded to the Miami Dolphins for Jalen Ramsey. The look on my face says it all. The look on my stupid face says it all. Pittsburgh, what are you doing? Pittsburgh, what in the actual hell are you doing? Am I questioning Jalen Ramsey, the player? Kinda. Preface this by saying this. I enjoy being wrong about a lot of things. Actually, about everything. I don't know how Pittsburgh is really going to look at this roster from top to bottom and go, yep, that's a 12-win team. They're not. Now, I've got a lot of comments in the past about my critiquing of Aaron Rodgers and how I think this is a stupid decision from the Steelers' perspective. I have a soft side for Pittsburgh Steelers football because of my father, who is a Steeler fan. But how is it if you're Pittsburgh, you look at the team of DK Metcalf, a George Pickens trade to Dallas, Minkah Fitzpatrick, a pissed off TJ Watt, who's going to want a new contract, and 42-year-old Aaron Rodgers, and look at yourselves square in the face and say, "Yep, they're going to be good," because you're not. And the reason why is because Mike Tomlin is still making the decisions for this team and is still making the overall roster construction decisions. Omar Khan is the GM. I get it. I understand that. But the same point, my thoughts on Pete Carroll with the Seahawks were as followed. The Seahawks will not make legitimate strides until Pete Carroll is gone. My thoughts on the Steelers will remain the same. Until Mike Tomlin is gone, the Pittsburgh Steelers will not make legitimate strides. I said it. I will piss people off. I do not care. Because I'm real that way. I am real that way. If you can't handle it, I apologize. Thank you. F you. Bye. That's it. I'm sorry, but that's the way I am. We also have some wrestling to get to. Before we get to the NFL preview series, so looking at my watch, to quote, no credentials required. What time is it? Why, it is ring time. That is right, ladies and gentlemen. It is time for our weekly segment of professional wrestling talk. It is ring time, and this week we're going to talk about the most recent WWE PLE Night of Champions from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Preface this by saying, I understand that there is a bit of controversy going on with Saudi Arabia and CM Punk. I get it, blah, blah, blah. Like, listen, morality standpoint, I understand. From a business perspective, this event was too good to pass up. So that's just that. I'll leave it at that. We'll get on to the first of the 2 title matches that happened. Solo Sikoa has claimed the United States Championship over Jacob Fatu. Because of a returning Tongaloa and a debuting Hikuleo, who now goes by Tala Tonga. Also, JC Mateo entered the room here. Jeff Cobb, whatever. Don't care. Oh boy. I think Solo, personal opinion, is pretty good. Jacob Fatu is way better. I don't know where this is going to go. I know Hikuleo has been under WWE contract for quite some time now, and I'm happy they were finally finding ways to debut this SOB because he's pretty good. Blah, blah, blah. Tongaloa coming back. Now you got to wait for Tama Tonga, and all 3 Tongans of Gorillas of Destiny are finally going to be together in WWE. But how much longer are we going to date? How much longer are we going to do with this bloodline nonsense? I think the bloodline peaked, obviously, after SummerSlam last year. When Solo took on Cody Rhodes for the Undisputed title in the main event of SummerSlam, Roman Reigns returned, blah, blah, blah. We get it. It peaked then. It did. And how much longer are we, the audience, going to deal with it? It still sells, which is good, which is great. I don't know where this is going to lead with Jacob. I don't know where this is going to lead at all. But as I have said for quite some time now, trust the booking. But it's one of those you look at from a 10,000-foot view and go, I don't know where this is going to go, but at the same point, I'm happy for Solo because he finally gets his first singles title. Yay, we like these things. Aside from the NXT North American title, which that doesn't count for reasons. We also had the finals of the Queen of the Ring tournament with Asuka and Jade Cargill, and as expected, because everyone is annoyed by this. Well, a good chunk of people are annoyed by this. Jade Cargill wins Queen of the Ring and will have an opportunity for a world title match at SummerSlam. The one thing I enjoy about the Queen and King of the Ring tournaments is that if you win the tournament, you get an automatic world title match at SummerSlam. That's cool. That I enjoy. They've been trying to find ways to put Jade Cargill in the world title picture for like forever, since she got here. And it's been 2 years. And I don't know what the holdup has been. Maybe it's because they wanted to find ways to ease her in to the world title picture. But the fact that it took them this long, and for those who are saying, oh, why didn't Asuka win the tournament? It's like, okay, because maybe because you wanted to see some fresh faces. Don't get me wrong. I see both sides of this argument that are like, Asuka should get a world title match down the road. Yeah, she should. She should. But she's also at this point in her career where she should be putting over new talent, not younger talent, because Jade Cargill is, 35? I don't know, not like it matters, because she's new talent. She is. And whoever whoever she picks, I hope to God it's not Io. It's probably going to be Tiff. Maybe. I don't know. She's either going to pick Io Sky, the Women's World Champion, or Tiffany Stratton, the WWE Women's Champion. Either or, who the hell cares? I just hope it's going to be good. Please, for the love of mankind and all that is holy in this world, please. We also had a shockingly good match from what I have heard. Rhea Ripley and Raquel Rodriguez in a street fight. Raquel Rodriguez doesn't get a lot of credit. She really doesn't. She's a good worker. She really is. And for those who are saying, Rhea carried this match. Sure, whatever. Raquel can work. And for those who are like wondering, like, why the hell isn't Raquel been in like multiple title pictures? I don't know, because reasons I don't care, but like maybe because she can't talk on the mic. I don't know. Maybe it's entirely possible, but Raquel Rodriguez should be getting more opportunities in singles matches. She should. She's pretty good. That's all I'll stay here. Sami Zayn and Karrion Kross, for those who want to push Karrion Kross to the moon, this is what you get, blah, blah, blah. Maybe he gets pushed into the U.S. title picture. I don't know. Maybe the IC title picture. I don't know. Am I going to deliberately... I said what I said about Logan Paul getting spoon-fed opportunity after opportunity and defending Karrion Kross at that point. I still would defend him to this day. The opinion of Karrion Kross and what he said about Logan Paul. My opinion on that still remains the same. Karrion Kross is a good worker. He's a good worker. He's great cutting a promo. Fantastic promo. It kind of seems like Sammy, from what I've read, carried this match. But again, it's for those that are wondering, like, oh, why is the booking shitty? It's like it's really not. It's the expectations of you guys are way, way, way up here, and they should be that's smack in the middle. But people want to judge it. Where the hell did she go? Donut's like trying to attack my green screen from behind me. She's a pain in my rear end. There you are. Hello, crackhead. Because she is a crackhead. Oh, you want sleepies? You want sleepy donut? You want cuddles? Donut's cute sometimes. When she's not being a demon. To quote Keith David from Halo 2, a demon. Because she's a demon. I can't do Keith David's voice. I can't. He's too good at what he does. Keith David and Morgan Freeman can narrate my life at my funeral, and I'd be perfectly fine with it. I'd be dead, so, you know. I'd be dead. Also, Cody Rhodes has won the King of the Ring tournament.
Whoa!
Play it again for the people in the back.
Whoa!
Oh boy. Cody Rhodes is overrated and overbooked. I was like, okay, he's the top babyface in the company. Who the hell cares? He's the top babyface in the company. For those who've really, really honest to God thought that Randy Orton was winning this match, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. I'm not even a big Cody guy. But from a business perspective, this made all the sense in the freaking world. Because you get spoon-fed a mammoth of a match in New York for SummerSlam. Fine, New Jersey, whatever.
What the hell was that?
It was It's New Jersey, okay? Shut up. For SummerSlam in a month, with Cena for the Undisputed title, he's probably going to win it, but see. Some people are saying Cody should turn heel. I'm like, I don't know. He's too big of a babyface, but we'll see. Listen, from a business point of view, obviously it makes sense. From a company perspective, makes sense. Oh, I'm the IWC. I think I know everything, even though I'm in my 20s or 50s, and I type in front of a keyboard for a living because I think I know everything about the wrestling business. You don't. Shut up. John Cena also retained the Undisputed title as expected versus CM Punk. Apparently, there was a lot of commotion going on with Seth Rollins and his faction. Can we just call them Evolution 2.0? Can we just call them that? Who's the fourth guy? Who is the fourth member of this second coming of Evolution? Is it Drew McIntyre? Because that'd be awesome. That would also be kind of overkill, but, whatever. Penta also got involved from what I've seen from the clips. Seth tried to get involved in cash in, which prevented Punk from winning the match, and then Cena won. Sure. That's it. That's all I am. We also have. We're gonna begin the NFL preview series. We're gonna begin this whole shindig with the AFC South. So, in my notes section, I have my overall predictions of who I think is gonna, rank here and there and stuff like that. And we're also going to just have a genuine, good conversation about these teams. So, how I'm going to do this is I'm also going to go from the south to the east to the north to the west. AFC first, because why the heck not? Also because the Titans won the first pick and then the AFC. So I am going to grab my notes section on my phone, and we're going to start this magical edition 2025 of the NFL preview series of Time to BS with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jacksonville made a few key acquisitions. We're also going to go free agency and draft as key acquisitions. Travis Hunter with the second overall pick they traded up to get from Cleveland. De'Ami Brown, wide receiver from Washington. Patrick McCarry, Robert Hainsey, two offensive linemen from, Hainsey from Tampa, McCarry from Baltimore. The Jaguars also acquired Eric Murray from the Texans, Jordan Lewis from Dallas, and Emmanuel Ogbah from the Miami Dolphins. I am not going to directly say, yeah, sure, Jacksonville should be way better, because the AFC South is a cesspool. The AFC South as an overall whole is a gigantic effing cesspool. But I do think Jacksonville gets a lot better. I don't think Jacksonville is going to be all-worldly great. Now, if we have known anything from, Liam Cohen, the new head coach of the Jaguars, is he loves to spread the ball around a lot of places. And then how long is it going to take until we give, until we stop giving Trevor Lawrence the benefit of the doubt? Sure, he was the number one overall pick. Sure, he was a top-tier prospect. Sure, he was a top prospect. He was deemed as the best quarterback prospect since Andrew Luck at that time. But he hasn't lived up to the expectations, and how long is it going to take until we start, questioning Trevor Lawrence himself? Because I'm sure you can put a small chunk of the blame on Trevor, but also ownership has a lot to blame for why the Jaguars have been successful in nearly 10 years. It's been nearly 10 years since Jacksonville went to the AFC title game against the Patriots. Probably could have won it. Probably should have won it. Of course, we'll never know what happened because, the Patriots BS happened at the time. But there is some hope for Duval. If they're going to get butts in seats, Travis Hunter, Trevor Lawrence, Travis Etienne, Brian Thomas Jr., they're going to get butts in seats over in Jacksonville. They might shock people, but I do think Jacksonville wins 5 games this season. They're going to be the worst team in the AFC South, but probably not by that much. It's just like, pick your poison at this point if you're the Jaguars, because I really don't know where to put them. They made some good moves in the offseason. Obviously, taking Hunter for second overall really does help. Next up, Tennessee. Tennessee. Aside from Cam Ward, who you took first overall, and Titan fans, credit where credit is due, you are confident. Titan fans, for some reason, are overly confident in your team. Don't know why, but whatever. I will also say that Tennessee has 2 first-round picks in their offensive line, Pierre Skoronski and J.C. Latham, left guard and right tackle. Kevin Zeitler from Detroit, not a bad move. Dan Moore, good God. If you've seen Dan Moore tapes a left tackle from Pittsburgh, God help you. Tyler Lockett, sneaky good move from the Seahawks. Tony Pollard's still there. Draymond Jones, speaking of former Seahawks. Cody Barton as well, former Seahawk as well. They also signed Xavier Woods from Carolina. Brian Callahan may not be the worst coach in the world. He's not the best coach in the world, but it's one of those where they're basically putting all their eggs in the basket for Cameron Ward. I don't know if it's going to pan out, but I should have flipped the record prediction with Jacksonville, Tennessee. I'm going to do that. I think Tennessee's going to still be the worst team in this division. I think they're going to be 5-12. I think the Jaguars are going to be 7-10. But overall, it's my prediction, so really, who cares? I can flip these whenever I want because I can. I don't know. Tennessee doesn't have a strength. Tennessee doesn't have a weak point. They're just there. They're overall, the Titans are just there, which sucks because you want them to be good. You really do want them to be good. Next up, Indianapolis. Colts. I don't know what to think because now I will also say the acquisition of Daniel Jones makes this a lot more interesting. Last 5 years, they finished 8-9 last year, 9-8, 23, 4-12-1 in 22, 9-8 in 21, and 11-5 in their last time they make it the playoffs. Drafted Tyler Warren, 14th pick, tight end from Penn State. I know Anthony Richardson was their top draft pick at quarterback a couple years ago. The Colts they're in the same realm as Tennessee. They're just there. The Colts are just there. And as much as you want to get rid of them, they're still there. They're like they're like that annoying friend that you had who wasn't really your friend in elementary school, who you just could not get rid of, and this person still thought you were their friend. Even though they were clearly obnoxious, clearly annoying, and clearly showed no benefit to your life at all. They're just there. That's the Colts. And I'm sorry, but like I know we could give a lot of the credit to Chris Ballard where credit is due because Chris Ballard's a good GM. Good Lord. But after a while, you may need to look at Chris Ballard and say, hey, buddy, change needs to happen. Otherwise, there's going to be change needs to be happen. You catch my drift? So, it's Colts, I think the Colts finish with the same record as Jacksonville this season. 7 wins, no big deal. And I think you could pretty much guess who the top team in the AFC South is this year. Yes, I still think it's Houston. And weirdly enough, they subtracted some pieces, but they weirdly enough got better. It seems to me, weirdly enough, the Texans got better. They subtracted Laramie Tunsil for Cam Robinson, Laken Tomlinson, and Trent Brown on the offensive line. They brought in Nick Chubb from Cleveland. Not bad. Christian Kirk from the Jaguars in a trade. That's because Tank Dell's out for 4 months, maybe 3, with a torn ACL. C.J. Gardner-Johnson, trade from the Eagles, the world champion Eagles. Sheldon Rankins from Cincinnati. They also brought in Darrell Taylor, who's good speed rusher from Chicago. Houston. I think this is just an early prediction. This could potentially be Houston's shot to get to the AFC title game for the first time in franchise history. Would you believe me if I told you that is the case? Houston has never been to the AFC title game. That's crazy. Well, the Texans. The Oilers, different story, but like the Texans should be in serious contention to get to the AFC title game. Houston has really good pieces. Christian Harris, Will Anderson Jr., who got paid. Derek Stingley, who also got paid. What? What, Bubba? What? What? Finish it up later. But DeMeco Ryans can coach. I don't know why they got rid of their offensive coordinator from last season, Bobby Slowick, but maybe because it's just the offensive line probably is going to get better. Cam Robinson, Trent Brown, and Laken Tomlinson really do help, but I think Houston wins the AFC South at 12-5 record. They're probably going to get the 3 seed, but if Houston's going to overtake teams like Baltimore, like Buffalo, like Kansas City, their offensive line has got to get better. Their weakest link is the line of scrimmage on both sides. But I will say it again, their offensive line has got to get better, otherwise they're not going to overtake teams like the Chiefs, Bills, and Ravens. Final thoughts before we close up shop for the day. Enjoy your lives, ladies and gentlemen. Just go ahead and enjoy them because you never know how much time you have left on this earth. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Dan Cruz. I'm coming to you from the beaches of lovely Long Island, New York, and I will see you all in this life, and most certainly the next one. Cheers, everyone. Have a good night.